Theosophist George Lansbury and the Poplar Rates Rebellion of 1921, read by Dave Marsland of Cardiff Theosophical Society. George Lansbury, 1859 to 1940, was both a theosophist and a social reformer who fought against many forms of social injustice during his lifetime. One of his most notable accomplishments was his stand against an unfair rating system that had been established in England during the late 19th and early 20th centuries. In the early 20th century, George Lansbury devoted himself to local politics in his home borough of Poplar, East London, where he was a councillor. He was a constant campaigner for social reforms and was well known for his work in improving the lives of the disadvantaged. However, in 1921, Lansbury found himself at the centre of a controversy involving an unfair rating system, which ultimately led to his arrest and imprisonment. The unfair rating system in question was used to determine the value of property for taxation purposes. The system was based on the perceived rental value of property rather than its actual value. This meant that many poor families were being unfairly taxed, as their properties were considered to be of higher value than they actually were. Lansbury, an elected member of the London County Council at the time, was a vocal critic of this system and campaigned tirelessly for its reform. In 1919, he became the mayor of Poplar, and under his leadership, the council voted to apply an illegal rate within the borough. George Lansbury was also at that time the editor-in-chief of the national daily newspaper, the Daily Herald, which he helped to found in 1912. Lansbury's campaign was met with resistance from those in power who were reluctant to change the rating system. The Poplar Council maintained their defiance of the government, and Lansbury went to prison with 30 fellow councillors for what became known as the Poplar Rates Rebellion of 1921. Lansbury's imprisonment sparked public outcry and drew attention to the issue of the unfair rating system. It also highlighted the extent to which those in power would go to maintain the status quo. Despite his imprisonment, Lansbury remained committed to his cause and continued to campaign for the reform of the rating system. In the years that followed, Lansbury's efforts paid off. In 1926, the Local Government Act was passed, which abolished the old rating system and replaced it with a new system that was fairer and more equitable. Poor families were no longer unfairly taxed. Lansbury's imprisonment had been an unjust and harsh punishment, but it also served as a catalyst for change. Lansbury's stand against the unfair rating system was just one example of his many contributions to the cause of social justice. As a theosophist, he believed in the importance of helping those who were less fortunate than himself, and he dedicated much of his life to fighting poverty, inequality, and discrimination. His legacy lives on today as we continue to work towards building a more just and equitable society for all people. Today, George Lansbury is remembered as a local hero, and his legacy lives on in many social and political reforms that he helped to bring about. His commitment to social justice and his willingness to speak out against injustice, even in the face of imprisonment, serve as an inspiration to us all.